calling in from Oroville, California. MChav, California. Excuse me. Judy from Bellevue. Hello, Judy. Uh, and Neil from Hilton Head. Now, Neil, we have to talk to you about doing that that pie crust table. So, yeah. Although, you know what? I'm getting a lot of work in right now, so that's going to have to sort of squeeze that one in. But we'll talk. I think that would be a really good, not only a lesson from my online school, but a possibility of a live stream session. Now, I wanted to explain what my plans are over the next little while. Next week, I'm going to be taking off. So next week, Monday through Friday, I'm not going to be doing any live stream, taking sort of a techie break. And also, it is my husband's and my 20th anniversary. It's right in the middle of the week. So we just said, yeah, we're just going to take the whole week off. I don't know if we're going to go anywhere, but we're going to try to. If things are open and available. And so we'll see. So yeah, that's next week. Then the following week, since I do have a lot of work coming in now, and I kind of have to start focusing on that, and just have to redirect things a bit. So I'm planning on starting the following week, which would be what date? Let's just see here. Just want to make sure I've got the right dates here. So I'm taking off the week from June 1st to the 5th, and then I'm going to start up again the following week with the live streams. But I'm going to be shortening it to 2 days a week, so Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they'll be going basically an hour, but possibly extending into 2 hours because of it'll be a shortened time. So just want to let you know, I know a lot of people are getting back to work, and summer is coming, and there's going to be a lot of things happening, hopefully soon some traveling. And so, it's not a bad thing. People are actually getting out and, getting back to work, and not, hopefully soon, not being so isolated in their homes. So anyway, I wanted to do this while we were all sort of isolated, and I'm still going to continue to do it because I thoroughly enjoy this. And but I'm just not going to do it every single weekday. I'll still be able to do the archived videos, and also, since I'm going to be doing it Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will hope I'm planning on doing the Thursdays as a guest. All right, so I'll be doing my own live stream on Tuesdays, and then having a guest on Thursdays. And that's sort of the tentative plans right now. So yes, so that's what's happening. Tomorrow night, I wanted to let you know, tomorrow live stream, it is going to be changed from 1 o'clock. It's going to be happening at 5 o'clock in the evening Eastern time, because I'm going to be bringing somebody in from Australia. So she doesn't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Olivia O'Connor, she's going to be sharing how to do the excuse me, the rocking horses, traditional rocking horses. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But that, again, tomorrow, and I'll put a note up on the live stream about that. Okay, so we've got Bruce from Minnesota. Hello, Bruce. All right. What is the poll? War Machine, what are we doing? A quick poll at the top of the chat. The real Lady Jane. Chilly Big Canoe in North Georgia mountains. Neil, no hurry. The blank has been sitting in my shop for 20 years or so. Okay. Salt and Light, congrats. Ours is tomorrow. Well, congratulations. Hi from Connecticut. Ozzy, finally nice weather. All right. War Machine, a quick vote showed that everyone liked the original Lady Jane and no one liked her evil twin. Oh, come on. That's just not very nice. Okay, well. Okay, Rob, hello from Durham, North Carolina. Okay, welcome everybody. Also, I wanted to mention starting on June 13th, I'm going to be teaching a class on how to carve this calla lily. And this is going to be through the Florida School of Woodwork. Unfortunately, I broke the little tip off. It's somewhere, probably got lost somewhere along the way, so I'm going to have to add a little piece to that. But yeah, that's going to be an online course through Zoom. But sign up through schoolofwoodwork.com, and really looking forward to that. I enjoyed the last one where we did the oak leaves in relief, but this one is actually going to be as an applique. So you're going to cut it out first, and then we're going to carve it. So dive right into carving the actual leaf. Now this also, or sorry, flower. This is also a video, a lesson on my online school to carve this. But it's going to be fun to have that interaction, because it's that, I'll walk you through very, very methodical step-by-step process. And so, yes, if you want to join me on that, that's going to start June 13th. And it's going to go through that next week. And it'll do every other day. And then we'll do a 2-hour session. And then you'll have some time to work on it on the off time. So let's see here. Where are we from? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and just change the views here. Get me out of here. And let's get the other camera going. Okay, so come on. All right. So now I have concluded that I really need to finish this week, because I've got a lot of other things happening that I have to focus on, like jobs, like a real job. And so I'm just going to be finishing up her hair. I'll be finishing up. Maybe I should rotate her around, and I'll actually carve her eyes. Yeah, I might do that today. I'm just going to do some rough carving right now, doing some finalizing of some of the details of her hair. And I'm really finding that the hair has been probably one of the most challenging, because what it is, it's very, well, it's curly, but it's actually controlled curls. I mean, you can just go kind of crazy and make it go all over the place, but then it really won't make sense. So, it's not only hard to carve it, but it's actually hard to explain, because if you see here, there's sort of chunks, all right? There's that one, then there's that one, then there's that one, right? But within each one of these, that it's important to make sure, let's get her so you can actually see her right there. So do you see right here, there's sort of a chunk, a lump of hair there, but it curls within that shape. Then this one, there's another one from here to there, but it also curls and sort of sweeps around. So it's not, it's basically controlled chaos. Okay, Abisha, hello. Mary and everyone from Belgium, hello. Now, Taito Alba was not able to join us today. He had to take his little ferret into the vet, and he's such a sweet little animal, and he's got some issues happening, so he had to, it's kind of an emergency vet visit. And if you've ever had a ferret, they're really adorable little animals. And so War Machine is moderating today. Thank you, War Machine. And let's see here. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. Just trying to create some curls. And this is where it gets kind of difficult, because you want to have sort of a random flow and a curl, but it has to be controlled, and that is the challenging part. controlled randomness. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to probably focus on the hair on my own because it's kind of a strange thing to do. I just have to be able to focus it a little bit more. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually work on, oh, how would I do that? I want to work on her face, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Let me think about this. If I do it like that, let's just tip her a little bit. Now, so I don't know if you can see that, but what I've got, you see I've got these, I've got it clamped in here, and this way I can sort of tip it forward, backward, and let me think about this. Okay, let me just clamp her in like this. Sorry, I'm right in the way, I know that. Now the thing is, when I'm carving her, I have to look straight on. So let me just redirect. Bear with me. Hold tight while I move the camera to a different position. I know. This is what gets everybody nauseous. And then you get to look at the background of my messy workshop. It isn't often on camera. All right, so let's see if that's gonna show enough. Okay, I think that's gonna work okay. I really don't want to get in the way. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead, and since I kind of have the outline of the hair pretty defined, you know what? Actually, I have to take off my glasses. I keep putting them on and off. If I can read the comments with my glasses on, but I have to actually take them off when I work close up. Well, I'll just look underneath. So I'm just doing the final surfacing of the edge where the hair kind of curls around her face. And you know, the difficulty right now is, when do you stop? And ultimately, you know what the decision right there is when you have too many other things to do in the place of it. And that's kind of where I am. At that point, I just simply have to stop. That's what's going to be the deciding factor. And a lot of times when you're doing things for yourself, doing a project for yourself, you have to have external things that will determine whether it's done. Because it's not like, if you're doing it for a client, it's not like you have a client waiting for you. It's just a project that you're doing on your own, so nothing really is pushing it except for just wanting to complete it. So the fact that I have a bunch of projects coming in, that's kind of the driving force of that. Okay, one whiskey. This is amazing. Thank you, Jim. I hope your carving of Lady Jane online hasn't slowed your progress on her too much. You know what? It's actually, no, I don't think it has. it's interesting because when you do it in sort of a systematic way, I'm actually surprised I got as far as I have as I work on it pretty much live. But no, it's interesting because if you just one day at a time, and an hour, really, that's pretty much what I've been um, doing it. I haven't really been. I have done some things um, off offline, but not a lot. Okay, I'm completely missing. Let me just show here. Let me move that so you can kind of see her hair. There we go. There's a really kind of nice little curl, kind of curls that way, and then another little curl that way. So I'm going to break up this one. Hold on. No, I actually have been enjoying it. And you know what? When you're doing it for a live stream, it kind of has a different type of motivation too, because I'm not only carving it for myself. No, I'm carving it for all of you out there. It's not just me. And it's the same thing with social media sometimes. Sharing things on social media, posting pictures and all of that. Sometimes you just get that that external encouragement, that feedback that sometimes you need just to be able to complete something. And so no, I've enjoyed that, and I can't let you down, can't let my peeps down. But I have to finish her. Okay, it's actually sticking a little too far away from her face. Rob says, "Cool, I'm a peep." Yeah, you're one of my peeps, man. You're one of my peeps. Yeah. I said that one time to Taito Alba. I said, "Yeah, my peeps, man," and he just looks at me and rolls his eyes. What are you talking about? You got to get the slang. Gotta keep my peeps happy. And let's do a little, oops, that's not gonna work. Let's do a little tiny curl right there. That now I want a marshmallow peep. Oh, those things are awful. Yuck. How can anybody eat those? The squishy marshmallows. Reedy Sam, we can't get our hair styled in Ontario yet, but Lady Jane can. Yeah, we're giving her a haircut right here. I don't know if anybody wants to come by. I can do the same type of haircut using my chisels. Not sure if anybody is really going to be interested in that one. Well, one is about the quota for the year, but with everything shut down, I didn't have my quota this year. Talking about your haircut? Yeah, that's about me too. About once a year, whether I need it or not. Okay, well, I said I was going to go to the face, and then I got carried away with the hair again. But liking the look of that, and then we've got that coming around like that. So tomorrow, remember, it's going to be the live stream is going to be at 5 o'clock in the evening Eastern instead of my 1 o'clock, because we are having Olivia from Melbourne, Australia join us, Olivia O'Connor, and so she is going to be joining us at 7 o'clock her time, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So, and that's another thing I'm sort of trying to figure out. I'm going to be doing some changing of some schedules. I'll be reducing the live stream once I get back from my vacation next week. Attempted vacation next week. We'll see how that goes. So next week I won't be doing any live streaming, but the following week I'm going to be reducing it down to 2 live streams a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So far it's going to be the same days, or sorry, the same time, but I don't know if that's such a good idea, because people are either going to be just busy doing their thing during the day or back to work, so I'm just not sure if it's necessarily if 1 o'clock is a good time. Now I know it's a good time for those of you in Europe, so I don't hesitate to do too much changing with that, because it's sort of the early to mid-evening, and I know California, it's a comfortable morning time. So, it seems like it's a good time, but I just don't know if that's necessarily a good live time. So, I know that, Eastern time people usually end up eating dinner around 6 or 7, so that's probably not a good time. I was thinking possibly maybe 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, but that's also when everybody's just finishing up with work. So it's anyway, I might just leave it just to not complicate things. Oh, it's a good thing I'm completely bald. Oh, that's convenient. Yeah. That then haircuts and peeps. Yeah. The last time I had hair this long, I think Jimmy Carter was president. So we're going through sort of another hippie stage here. Rob says, I'm about to give up on the haircut thing and go for a ponytail. There you go. Everybody's, gonna have a full beard and long hair, and, be pretty sad when I start getting a full beard, though. Then it's time to just really stop, put down the chisels, and go take a break. My husband started to look like Grizzly Adams. Yeah, that's true. I saw him the other day. It's that wild look. War Machine, you're not considered a serious carver unless you have a ponytail. Oh, okay, that artsy look. Okay. You gotta get in touch with your artist side. Ponytail, and then start wearing more tie-dye shirts. Notice Mary's ponytail. Yeah, yeah. But when my beard starts showing, that's when I have to take a break. Okay, Rob, if you don't shave for a couple of days, my wife calls it my homeless look. Yes, we've got to we are all getting in touch with our wild side. Okay, so I am going to go ahead. Now, this is kind of scary here. If you can see the eyes, oh, should I? I'm really kind of reluctant to actually finish carving the eyes until I know that I know that I'm completely finished. And I'm just going to go ahead. I'm taking my number 314 and I'm going to start really smoothing off her face and her cheeks. And by doing this, it's probably going to be thinning it down a little bit, but not too much. And it'll be sort of softening her little pudgy cheek parts. There you go. From there. Move over, Lady Botch. Yes. Yeah, maybe that's what we should do. We should start sharing photographs of all of us so that you can see how this isolation thing has affected us all. Hey, the live stream, has kind of been my excuse to actually, get up and get going and actually get something done in the day. So if I didn't have this, I don't know. Probably be running around in my pajamas all day or something. See, I can do that. I have my workshop right behind my home, so I can get away with that. Okay, so I'm just doing a little bit of a hollow right underneath the eye. Rob says could all just go full Peter Follansby. Yes, full Follansby. Well, he's got the tie-dye and the long beard and the long hair. So there you go. I want to have him on again soon as a guest. That was a lot of fun. So I'm probably in June. I'm gonna end up having more people on, but bringing some of the people that we had previously, bring them back again as a guest. And if any of you have any suggestions of who you might want to see as a guest, I may know them, I may not, but if you have any suggestions, please let me know. Anybody you would like to see? Okay. Now, difficulty is I've got to go kind of in this direction. And it's not a very controlled cut. is if I come in this direction, I'm going actually against the grain. So let me see if I can do another rotating. I'm gonna do this from here to there and then tip. Yeah, there we go. Let's do that. So I can do that side of her face. Sorry, I've got to do some adjusting. My bench. So from there to there, and now, sorry, I keep knocking the camera. And I'm gonna go ahead and move this again, so bear with me. And I'm just going to thin down the side of her face a bit. Okay. All right. H. Rycat. You'll probably describe this, but do you often do portraits, faces? It's beautiful, of course. Thank you. I do not. The fact that I had an original here to refer to really made my life a lot easier. Just kind of creating something just out of thin air is a lot more challenging. And but because I had this marble bust that I could refer to directly, it really has made things a lot easier. So, you know, if you're just carving something, either trying to match a person, which is probably the most challenging, like if you're actually going to be doing an image of a real person, just very subtle things like the eyes just a little bit different, the shape of the mouth, the shape of the cheeks. There's so many things that could end up causing it to just not quite look like that person. And so this is about the closest I've ever done to kind of trying to make a sculpture look like a particular person. And she's not exact. Her face right here. Let me move me out of the way so you can see her. But her face, it's actually quite a small face, a small features in her face compared to her cheek. And I think mine is more, the facial features are filling in a little bit more. She's has that very typical sort of Renaissance look of very petite features. And mine is, I guess, maybe a bit more realistic in that they're not sort of that very, you know, very tiny, delicate little lips, tiny nose. Mine are just a little bit more substantial. Okay, Jim, on video, the glue up line is quite obvious through shoulder, face, and hair. Is there something you will do later to minimize this, or will you just accept it? At this point, I'm just going to leave it. But it is interesting. You can really see they obviously came from different pieces of, or different trees. Maybe one was aged a bit more. Usually the yellower basswood ends up probably maybe coming from the southern states, and the whiter basswood, which is in the front of her face, ends up being more northern. It could just be the age difference. I know this one, we're getting some checks in it, so it could just be a faulty piece of wood. So the question to that is, I don't know yet. Or the answer is, I don't know yet. I might just leave it and just have it as just the feature of that. It's not so distracting. You know, sometimes if you have a big knot or something, you know, maybe across her cheek, then that can really be distracting. But I'm not sure if I'm really going to worry about it. And I might just simply try to, once I'm finished with it, maybe do like an antiquing of it so that it maybe will blend a bit more. And we have to get Mike Miskelly on for that. So maybe I need to send this up to him and he can do another live stream just showing how to finish her. And so, antiquing it would basically be, putting a sealer on her, a couple coats of thin down shellac, and then putting either a glaze or a stain or a wax or something on her, and then just wiping it off and buffing it off, and just sort of so it will end up sort of settling into the deeper areas, and hoping maybe that will blend a bit the colors. So I'm going to have to sort of ask his advice on that one. So yes, the answer to that is I don't know. Not sure where we're going with that. Okay, now I just want to bring this in a little bit more, thinning that nose down a bit. Sorry, I have to go in this direction. So I'm trying to see if this cheek and that cheek are even, because right now this actually looks a little bit high. So I'm just going to take that down a bit more. Quite often when I do faces, as I said, I don't do them very often, but I think probably the thing that I tend to do is not make things deep enough, just because of the hesitation of, oh, if I take it too deep, then there's no going back. But especially the cheekbones, and really making sure that this is nicely shaped underneath the eyes. And so usually I end up having to take it down a little bit more than what I first anticipate. And that's really just the part of that process of just discovering that depth. Okay, 3D7. When you carve around the eyes, I have to look away. It hurts. Yeah, well, I'm really wanting to carve the actual pupils and the irises out, because I really want to get that kind of finalized. And that's the funny thing. Once I do that, then it really is kind of scary. then it's just staring at me. All right. Sorry, I'm gonna have to come back in that direction. Because at that point, she's watching you as you approach her with this sharp blade, and she might not be very happy with it. And I guess that's probably what it is once you actually have eyes in it, then there's actually this personality that has been brought out. Before the eyes actually came out, she's sort of more anonymous. Now, the interesting thing is I really haven't had an opportunity much to focus on this side because it's been laying flat, so I've been really focusing more on this side and then kind of getting this part sort of even, but not completely. All right, see, grain direction is a challenge. Grain direction and then also getting away from the camera, or getting clear of the camera. So I'm going to try to do this without blocking everything. All right. Should I? I'm gonna refocus this and talk about doing the eyes now. Well, let's move her over this way so you can see that close up, and then we'll shift her over there. Okay, so hopefully I will be able to reach this. It's still so 3D Sam, hold still. I'm gonna need to find something else. Where's my chisel? Just trying to find my skew chisel. Huh. Hold on 1 second. It's kind of a critical time and I need this. Well, here is a skew chisel, but it's not my favorite one. We'll see if it'll work. Kind of makes your eyes water when you do this. 3D Sam, here you have a hurricane coming in. Well, they say it's a tropical storm. They're calling it a tropical storm, and it was actually supposed to be pretty major part of it was supposed to be coming in right about now, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. Doesn't sound like anything's happening out there. But yes, this morning it was pretty bad. This is like surgery. All right, and this is just a tiny little skew spoon bent. All right, you see that it's slanted like that, and that. And now I'm going to have to come back in this direction because the inside of the eye should look like it's rounding that way. So yeah, we've just had a lot of rain, but nothing bad. Okay. Oh, should I just go ahead and do it? Dun, dun. I'm going to go ahead and draw this. So right there. Now, when you're carving eyes, there are so many different directions you could go. You could carve just an outline of that, just to sort of give the impression of the edge of the iris. Is it iris? I keep the iris. The pupil is the tiny dot in the center. The iris is the outer. And so just a little, even just like a little V notch there, and then you can maybe just put a little dot in the center, a little carve out a little hole. But I'm actually looking at hers, and those are actual holes with just this little piece of stone left there, which really, I guess, identifies as the pupil. Okay, what are we having here? If it's below a category 4, we don't consider it a real hurricane. Yeah, I don't even know what it is right now. Rob says, I've been watching some Ian Norbury videos on eye carving. He's got gouges, power tools, and knives involved. Fascinating to see. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you just take a Dremel tool about that size and just go right into it, it'll be that hollow. All right, so what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead. Tell you what. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and leave a little... Ooh, that looks really scary. No, I'm not going to do that. See, if I just take that out, and then maybe a little bit of a notch right there. Now, the thing is, do you see what I'm doing? I'm not making a fully round circle right there. Because if you do, it's going to look like her eyes really bugging out, and she's just staring straight ahead. So quite often it's sort of it's cut off right there, and quite often cut off in the along the bottom. I mean, if you look close at yourself in the mirror and just a comfortable, relaxed eye, you're not going to see fully, the whole white around your eye, unless you're very scared. Yes, unless you run into Lady Jane's alter ego and her evil twin. But so it should really just one section there, and then it ends up being a little bit more of a gentle look. Let's hope. Let's just do this. I'm going to go ahead and define this outside. And it's always better to start small, and then if you want to make it a little bit larger, you can. Now, I just grabbed the gouge that was convenient. Hold on a second. I want to try to focus it a little bit more. Yeah, a little better. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a scoop out there. Everybody hold your breath. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is there's going to be a little, kind of a little light reflection right there. So I'm just going to leave a little section, and this is just the illusion that there's a little bit of a light showing. All right, so just gonna make a cut right there, and a cut right there, and a cut right there. Okay, I know it's getting kind of weird now. I need to get a tiny gouge to fit in there. Let's see, what do we have? It's funny, I don't actually have a lot of tiny gouges, but boy, when you need them, you really need them. All right, here's one. This is an antique one, but you see it's gotten a little bit of a twist to it. I think I put too much pressure on it one time, but it will still work. It's probably about maybe a number 4 or number 5 curvature. A tiny little thing. But it's really more important to make sure that the edge, that there's an actual corner there. Oh no, video breaking up. Okay. Just at that critical time. This is where you kind of have to hold your breath. Did you see that? Oh, we got that little thing I hit. Gasp. You didn't see that. Let's just sort of hope that it stays there, because it did loosen. Well, you know what? We could always take that away and just make a big hole. I don't know if that's going to stay or not. Yeah, it's a little careless of bumping up against it right there. Okay, now let me just do something. She's looking a bit starry-eyed. Not quite sure. What I want to do is make it look like the eye does not end right at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and extend that a little bit more like that. All right, let me just, how am I going to do this? Hang on. Okay, I want to get the shadow going, but do you see that little thing right there actually ends up looking like a little bit of a light reflection. Okay, and I want to take her out of there so we can see. Okay, so if I look at her, gotta cover up that eye. No, that actually is okay. I'll obviously have to clean up some of the outline, but it's kind of the fact that it's sort of drooping down a bit. She's looking a bit sad, a pensive look. And let me just try to get just different angles of light, because what's happening when you create a hole is you're creating shadow. So that really is what I'm trying to do. Is obviously you do not have a hole where you have your your pupil and iris. So it really looks scary with just the one eye. So there we go. So one eye, I think it's going to look okay. Rob, do you make the iris spherical or flat bottom? No, it's at a slight curve, really. You could do it either way, and it depends. I might end up doing a little bit harder of an edge there so it catches the light, it catches the shadow, because right now that edge, the edge of the iris, is not really very visible. So. And what I'm doing, obviously, as I said, your eye does not indent, but all we're doing is just creating shadow. And okay, let's zoom in as much as we possibly can. And this is always scary because you guys can see more than I can. I'm gonna give that a try. Let's just see. I think I need to get a different gouge. This is a number 7.6, and I don't know. No, it's not curved enough. Bear with me while I find my gouge that I need. Yeah, this is actually an antique. I'm not even sure what it is. Just going to go ahead and do that as a hard edge right there. just going to sort of very, very gently rock that. Right, so that is going to create a corner. Right, so do you see now all of a sudden that actually, from a shadow perspective, that really shows up. I'm going to take this little guy and go right up to it. So the answer to that, Rob, is it is now a flat surface instead of rounded, because of the fact that I wanted to create more of that shadow. Okay, now let me see. At an angle it looks kind of strange, but looking at it straight on like that, ooh, still looks kind of strange. Isn't that funny when you look at one? Here, let's back up. She's a bit too scary looking. And I think I might actually change the shape. The shape of her eye is kind of odd. It sort of curves up there. Okay, so let's zoom back in and do the same thing. I'm gonna have to use a smaller one. This one, is that going to be right? Whoops, right there. That's going to be defining the outside edge. This is where I hold my breath. I need smaller tools. All right, now I'm going to take this little Riffler file, saving the day, and get right in there and try to do some clean up along those edges. Yeah, I so rarely do really tiny carvings that I actually don't have a huge supply of really micro tools. Okay, so cover up that eye, and she's coming along. I might end up playing a bit more with her, but now she's going to be watching me. Okay, well, it is 2 o'clock, so I think I'm going to hold off. I'm definitely going to have to be working on her off screen over the next few days. So let me just hold on a second. I'm going to step away from here. All right, so just so I can actually get finished, like I said, by this week, so I can have tomorrow or next week off. And so anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this. That was a little stressful, that last little part. So now remember, tomorrow it's not going to be at 1 o'clock, it's going to be at 5 o'clock, and we're going to have Olivia O'Connor showing how to make her rocking horses. So all right, well, thank you everybody, and yeah, I'm going to have to really focus on that. You see, she's peeking over. I'm going to have to really focus on finishing up. 3D Sam, are you finishing her up on Friday? I am hoping to. Yes, that will be the end. I may end up, as I mentioned, getting Mike Miskelly on to talk about finishing her. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. Rob, off subject, but FYI, SpaceX is launching U.S. astronauts to the space station today about 4:30. Yes, we're going to try to see if we can actually see that, but it's going to be very cloudy here. That'll be interesting, actually, because I think it's going out of Florida, and isn't there a hurricane happening? Or a threatening? Okay, Abisha, tomorrow midnight. Yeah, it's going to be a little late for you. Stay up. All right, Kramer, thank you. Thank you, everybody. All right, encouraging as always. Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate you watching. I really do. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening with Olivia. Again, 5 o'clock p.m. Instead of 1 o'clock tomorrow. But then Friday, it's going to be back to the normal time. And yes, I am hopefully gonna have some time to really finish her up, maybe do the other eye. Those are scary. But then she's just gonna be staring at me the whole time. Now she's just sort of winking at me. All right, take care everybody, and happy carving. Bye-bye.